Hello, everyone. Tina Hogan Grant here with my monthly cuppa that I like to do once a month and just pop in and say hello to everyone, see how you're doing, see what you're up to. And if you can see me or hear me, go ahead and comment in the comments and let me know how you're doing. Again, Tina Hogan Grant. I'm an author of 11 or 12 books. And I just had one come out in the last couple of days. So if you can see me or hear me, let me know. B is here. Hey, B, how are you doing, my dear? And Leisha is here. Hi, Leisha. Good to see you, ladies. Here I am once again, once a month. Here's Leisha. Hi, Tina. Barbara is here. Hey, Barbara. Good to see you. And I'm not sure who this is, but hello. Good to see you. You must be in the group. I do want to mention, I don't know why, but in the group, they don't show me your name. But if you pop over to my author page, I'll be able to see your name. It's because the author page is not private, but the group is. But hello, Facebook user. Who else do we have here? Another one says, hello, Tina. Good to see you. And we have Karen. Hi, Karen. Good to see you guys. I like doing these once a month where I can just pop in and say hello to all of you and touch bases and let you know what's going on and what I've been up to and what I plan on doing next. But one thing that is good, and thank you, Leisha. Congratulations on your new release. Thank you so much. I will be reading from that one today. I'm just going to read the first chapter, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But Leisha, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But one thing that is good is that all of that snow that we had last week is all gone. It's just gone. We have absolutely no snow right now because now we're having torrential rainfalls. So it's melted all the snow, which I'm pleased with. I like the snow, but we have a little more than I expected and a little more that I wanted to deal with. So it's nice to be able to see my car again and the boat again. And yeah, I can walk around and not be fear of, slipping and sliding. So we've had rain since last night. I mean, California is getting their fair share of moisture this year with the snowfalls that we had last week. And now we've got another storm. I think it's supposed to end tomorrow. But yes, it's nice. And I see that Elaine is here. She says, thank you on the new book. Beautiful book. Thank you, Elaine. Good to see you. Cindy is here. Where's Cindy? Here she is. Cindy Gray, Guy is here. Thank you so much for joining me. I do have some news for you that I'll be sharing with you. I like popping on the comments. Lori is here. She's Lori. Here's Lori. And Karen's like, yes, all that snow is gone. I mean, it's unbelievable. I look outside and I can see across the street. I can see all the houses again. Yay. And this weekend, too, is daylight savings time. Another favorite time of my year. We're putting our clocks forward and we get another hour up to a daylight. I know that a lot of states don't, not a lot, a few states don't do the daylight savings time. I wish we didn't. I wish they would just leave it alone and just be the same time all year round. Are you in a state that doesn't do daylight savings time? Just let me know. I'm curious if you do or not. But we put our clocks forward. I do it Saturday night. They say Sunday morning, but before I go to bed Saturday night, I will be putting my clock forward. And I like the longer days. I like, being outside 7 or 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock sometimes, and I'll get a lot more done. I really do. But then again, I also like the cozy evenings when it's chilly outside and either I'm writing or curling up with a book. So I guess I like both, but I do like the longer days. I really do. I see a few snow comments I want to put up, and then I'll put up the daylight savings time. As Cindy says, still have 3 feet of hard packed snow in northern Maine. Wow. Are you expecting any rain to melt that? I hope you're not getting any more snow, but stay warm and be safe out there. Let me see. Who does the daylight savings time? And I can see some more snow on. Okay, this one's a Facebook user. We had 3 inches of snow yesterday. Stay warm. I'm hoping we're done with the snow. I'm not sure. The one thing, too, that I'm looking forward to, because of all this moisture that we've had in California, I live in an area where we get all the poppies. So what they're expecting this year is the super bloom. And we do go every year and check out all the poppies. It's the state flower. And they are gorgeous. The hillsides are just covered with orange blooms. But this year, because of all this moisture we're having, we're going to have the hoping what's known as a super bloom. So I'll definitely be going out and checking those out. And if I get some, great chances for pictures, I will definitely take some pictures and post them, because it is absolutely gorgeous when the hillsides are orange with poppies. Let me see. Elaine says, we do daylight savings time already here. So you put your clocks forward already, or are you doing that this weekend? We're doing ours. I'm going to be doing mine Saturday night. And then Karen says, daylight savings time. I do like more daylight. Missouri does daylight. Is there anyone here that doesn't do it? I'm just curious. Let's see. I'm looking. I'm in Kansas, the same as Elaine. Barbara says, we do, and I hope it changes permanently so we have longer days. I agree. I heard there's a bill trying to pass it, but I'm not sure what's going on with that. But it would be nice just to leave our clocks alone. My one in the car just stays the same time. And half the year I remember, it's an hour slow. And then eventually it gets back to the right time. I never changed one in my car, but the ones at the houses, I have some clocks that are high up. I mean, like that one behind me, I have to bring a ladder into the house, and it's an ordeal. I just want to, it feels like I just changed that one a few months ago. So now I got to bring the ladder in again. But, hopefully they will change it. Elaine says, I'm ready. We do it on Saturday like you. I'm looking for anyone that doesn't do it. Anyone doesn't do it? I'm still looking. Let me see. Just give me a minute. Maybe. B says she's in Oklahoma. They might stop doing it. I think Arizona is one that doesn't. I'm not sure. I really am not sure. Elaine says she loves daylight savings time. Okay, so I was just curious about that. As you know, I have been, okay, what's this? Let me put this. I've heard a few years ago that Arizona doesn't change. That's what I heard too, Vicky. I know there's a few states that don't, and I believe Arizona is one of them. I'm not sure. Here, we got this one up here. And Hawaii. Lori says Arizona and Hawaii. Okay, I thought there was a few more than that. Diane says, thank you for the tote. You are welcome, Diane. I'm glad it finally arrived. It took a while. We were snowed in, so I couldn't get to the post office. Plus, our post office wasn't even open because the people that work at the post office couldn't get to work. So anyways, I finally got them out earlier this week, and I am glad that they finally arrived. So the next thing I wanted to mention as a reminder is that next week is our St. Patrick's Day party in the group. Of course, that's going to be on the 17th, March the 17th. That is it'll be our 4th annual St. Patrick's Day celebration. So I can't believe this will be our 4th. We've been doing this for 4 years. That means the group is 4 years old too. So that's amazing. And we're going to have a party all day long. It will start early. I think 6 a.m. is the first post, maybe sooner. We have 30 plus authors coming in, and they're going to be doing giveaways all day. I absolutely love this holiday, and I think you already know that. This is my favorite one. I don't drink anymore, but I've had some good St. Patrick's Days, which I don't remember. But my dad was a full-bred Irishman, and it was his favorite holiday too. And I've mentioned many times before that this is the day that I just think of my dad, and everything I do that day is in honor of my dad, including the event. So I will be giving away some signed books from my dad. They will be hardbacks. And I think I'm going to be giving away 5 of them. And I will sign them as his daughter. And I will be sharing some stories of my dad. It's just a celebration of his life, of his accomplishment, of his legacy, along with other authors that will be in. So I really hope that you will come in and join us. And also on that day are some other parties going on, which I hope you will check out too. Maria Henriksen is having a St. Patrick's Day event in her group, Maria's Muse group, and I will be doing a giveaway over there. Lori is here. If you have any questions, you can check with Lori. So if you're not a member of her group, be sure to go over there and request to join. I will be doing a giveaway over there, 1 or 2. I'm sorry, I don't remember which, but please pop over there too and join in their party. That's also on the 17th. And then there's another one over at Jennifer Lynn Roach's group. That is called the Roach Ravenous Readers. She is also having a St. Patrick's Day party event with authors. And I will be over there too, doing a giveaway or 2. So again, if you're not a member of Jennifer's group, be sure to go on over there, request to join. Again, there's going to be more authors. St. Patrick's Day turned out to be quite a celebration across the board. So I know of 3 groups, and I think Tattered Page is having one too. But but those 3 for sure, definitely go and sign up and join in the fun. And I hope to see you. So I will be all over the place, checking it out. So that is what we're doing on St. Patrick's Day. Here's another hi. I want to just pop some highs up. Jenny says hi. Barbara says she's a member of all those groups. Karen says looking forward to all the parties. It's going to be a lot of fun. It will be fun. It will be fun. So I'm really excited about that. Let me see. What a very nice day to honor your dad, Tian. Yeah, it's the one day that I do put aside for Dad. He's constantly on my mind all day. And like I said, it was his favorite holiday. And what better way to, honor his legacy and his memory by celebrating, through St. Patrick's Day. Shannon is here. She says hi. Diane wants to know how Toby is doing. He was gone for a little while. I was a little worried for that for a while. Toby is my squirrel that has a visitor here all the time, and I post pictures of him in case you're not aware. But during the snowpack, he wasn't around, but he did venture out one day during the snow, and I snapped some pictures. But I haven't seen him since. Hopefully he's okay. We've got pouring rain right now. I can look right outside my window, and if he's there, I could see him because that's where the feeder is. But I haven't seen him in a few days. So hopefully he's doing okay, and he has a bunch of food stashed, and he will show up when the weather is warmer for him. Maybe he's on daylight savings time already. But as soon as I see him, I will be posting some pictures. Shannon says she thinks she's a member. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So I really hope you, pop by all the parties. And then let's see what else I want to talk about. Well, of course, I want to talk about my new release. Thank you so much for all the congratulations. And I want to thank my review team, of course, for taking the time to read the book and review it. The reviews are starting to trickle in, and I have to say I'm thrilled with the results. Elaine gave me a wonderful review. Pam Vogt, one of my moderators, she read and reviewed the review. She gave me a fantastic review. Lori Chasco. So I really want to appreciate all the reviewers that are taking time. I'm really pleased with them. This is, I've mentioned before, and unfortunately, I do not have, the cover or a book to hold up for you because it's still got, the paperback is not being published yet, just the ebook. So I don't have any copies to hold up yet. I wish I did, but the cover is beautiful. I'm absolutely thrilled with the cover. In fact, I might have it on my, hold on a second, just in case you haven't seen it. But anyways, it is a short story that takes place before Reckless Beginnings. It is the prequel to the Tammy Mellows trilogy. And here it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Just in case you haven't seen it, but you can see it. But that's First Fall. It is a short prequel, and it gives you an introduction to Tammy as a child at 10 years old. And as most of you know, Tammy is based on me. What happened in the book did happen. The only thing that changed is the name of the town and some of the characters' names, which you already know. But it is an event of, like all children, they go against the parents' rules. So, and if you think back to your childhood, I just want to ask everyone, because it's about First Fall and the basis of that, but can you think back to your childhood about something that you did that your parents told you not to do, like against their rules, and you got into trouble for? I mean, like there was a price to pay. And that's what First Fall is about. Tammy wanted to grow up, faster than she should. And she thought she knew more than her parents and made this big mistake. And those that have read it know what I'm talking about. But is there something in your mind that pops up when, your parents told you not to do something and you went ahead and did it anyway? Just out of curiosity for a discussion, what's something that you did that went against your parents' advice or your parents' rules that you actually, paid a heavy price for? And you'll find out in First Fall what Tammy did against her parents' rules was actually a heavy price that she paid. Facebook users always get called. Here's one. Diane said that she skipped school. Wow. Okay. She skipped school. I wonder how many times you did that. And then let's see. Barbara is saying, I can't do anything. I behaved. Barbara was a good girl. Lori says, not like that. Mom is part Italian, dad part Irish, so no way. So Lori's saying she couldn't get away with anything. And you'll learn in First Fall, you know, Tammy's father was away on business a lot. So it was up to the mom to, you know, discipline the girls. And that's where she had a challenge. She had 3 girls that she needed to discipline. And the children, the daughters, manners, or, you know, they acted a lot differently when father was away. And they knew they could get away with a lot more. So those struggled with raising the girls when the father was out of town. Karen says, I was a good girl. Nothing comes to mind. This is one event I thought about putting in Reckless Beginnings, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I wanted to start Reckless Beginnings up at an older age. And in Reckless Beginnings, it begins when Tammy's 14. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't put this event into the actual, you know, first part of the trilogy in Reckless Beginnings. And it turned out great, because now it gives you an insight of how Tammy was at an earlier age. And it also gives you an insight to the family, how the family functioned, how the sisters functioned, Debbie and Donna and Jenny and John, the father, and the mother Rose. So you get a feel of all those characters before you actually begin the trilogy of Rebecca's Beginnings. So I was really pleased how it turned out. I'm really pleased with the reviews, and I will be reading chapter 1 for you. I can't read more than chapter 1 because, like I said, it is a short prequel, but you also get chapter 1 from Reckless Beginnings, and you also get the prologue. So that's all included in the prequel book. So let me see. Hold on a second. Shannon says, I love the bike on the cover. I was always riding my bike as a kid. I was riding it a lot too. You know, I really was. Alicia said she was well behaved. And what I missed back then is all the freedom we had as kids. You know, when we were, you can all relate, I'm sure we had so much more freedom. I would ride my bike and, you know, come back when the street lights come on. No dinner. That was a strict rule. If wasn't back before the street lights came on, then we went to bed with no dinner. And if my dad was home, that rule was enforced. But there was so much freedom there. We walked back and forth from school. School was 3 miles away from where I lived. So we would walk to school every day and walk home. I mean, we got our exercise. I mean, I can't imagine any kids nowadays walking to and from school 3 miles. That's 6 miles a day. And even in snow, like the snow we had last week, we got snow in the town I grew up in, which is Ilkley, West Yorkshire. We had tons of snow, but that didn't, you know, that there was no such thing as a snow day. Go to school, just, you know, put on more layers, put on your boots, take a change of shoes when you get to school. So it's a lot different, and I love the freedom. You know, I get frustrated with my grandkids. They live in the city, and my son complains all the time that, you know, he can't take his eyes off his kids for 5 minutes. And they live in a little bubble, you know, and they come up here and they can play. They can play in the streets. They can play on the, you know, on the bikes. They can go hiking. I mean, my son tries to get as much as he can. He takes some hiking, kayaking, fishing, and all this stuff, but so much different than when we were growing up. And I'm thankful we had to walk to school every morning and after school. Yep. Never rode to school. I'm not even sure if we had school buses in England. I don't remember seeing any. It was up to the parents to take the kids to school, or we just walked to school. Another comment, Shannon Hansen, true, childhood is different these days. It really is. It really is. Karen says playing kickball with neighbors in the streets. Yeah. And we used to go on the moors. The moors was our backyard. And, you know, I know the moors at the back of my hand. We'd be up there for hours, you know, playing in the bracken, playing in the tarn, looking for tadpoles, just being kids and coming home dirty and mom complaining and not having dinner until you get in the bathtub and get out of those muddy clothes. But, you know, I'm so thankful that I grew up with a childhood like that. Very different from when we grew up. We rode the bus as if we missed it. We walked, yeah. Rules were enforced, and they were there for a reason. Oh, Betty's here. Elizabeth. Gosh, Karen, we certainly did. We had double summertime in the UK during the war, so we would be outside till ever so late. So, Karen, I guess you had a comment that she was talking to. Hey, Betty, good to see you. Elaine says we never stayed home because of the weather. Had to go. Absolutely. We never stayed home because of the weather. Had to go. Yeah. It didn't matter. It really did not matter. And I writing this book, um, first fall, I was reminiscing on my school days because it takes place when, like I said, Tammy was 10. And it just brought back all those fond memories. And the one thing I love too is, I did all of my schooling in England. I didn't come over here until I was in my late, I think, all 17, something like that. And in England, I graduated at 16. I think they changed it now in England to 18. But when I was growing up, we graduated school at 16. And what I also loved is we wore uniforms. In the middle school, we wore a gray uniform, and in grammar school, which is like your high school, but it's only till 16, we wore a navy blue one. And it was you were dressing for a reason, for a purpose. You were going to school to learn. None of this competition of, well, I've got Nike shoes and you only have, all this competition that kids are faced with today. But, we dressed for a purpose. And that purpose was you put on your uniform, you're going to school for a purpose, and that is to learn. And I look back now and I loved wearing a uniform. There was no competition between the kids. We all dressed alike. So there's a lot of things about these school days that, I miss. And, look at my kids and my grandkids in school today. And it's just like, oh, I couldn't. I mean, I admire the parents that are, raising their kids today. I admire you all because it has got to be really hard. Thank you, Betty. I like this. You had the coolest mom, Tina. Yes, mom was cool. She really was. Betty and my mom, they were great friends, and they were really close. And they were like two peas in a pod. So I used to love and enjoy seeing these two together. Betty was my neighbor down when I lived near the beach, and we've known each other since my son was 5. Betty was the crossing guard at Mark's school. She's from England also. So we, of course, clicked. And then when mom came over, they just hit it off. But yes, Betty, she was the greatest. I miss her. She was the greatest. Thank you for that. More comments. I stated that we could play outside until 9 or 10. Yeah, true. Until the lights, came on. So yeah, I do miss the school. I do miss, those childhood days, the 70s, the 80s, the 60s. I don't remember too much about. I was too young to remember those, but it's definitely the 70s. I want to put up Barbara's. When I was in elementary school, there was no school buses within the city limits, and we had to walk to and from school. Now they have them. And most of the time, it was at least 3 miles each way, depending upon where I lived. Yeah. Same in England, the same in England. Just fun to reminisce. It really was. So I hope when you pick up First Fall, if you haven't read it already, that it does, stir some memories for your school days, because it really was a joy to go back to those times and reminisce. And I find myself when I was writing the book, how much should I include? Because all these memories kept flooding back, and I only wanted it to be a short prequel. I didn't want to start a whole nother long book, because Reckless Beginnings is initially the first book of the series, and I can't change that. That is book 1. And I didn't want it to be a long prequel, but I like the size of the prequel. It's just enough information. And hopefully, for those of you who have not read any of the Tammy Mellors trilogy, I hope it stirs your interest to, pick up the next book in the series. But I had a lot of fun writing it. I really did. And like I said, I will be, in fact, I think I'm going to read to you the first chapter. We can do that now. And then I want to tell you about other things that I'm working on and what to expect from me. Do you know, can you realize it's already March 2023? It seems like we were just, celebrating Christmas. And now we're in the 3rd month of the year. And my goal is to have, 2 books out a year. So I'm, I need to get book 8 of the Sabella series out there before. I mean, it's just zipping by. So anyways, we will talk about that, what to expect after I do my live read. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just read you the first chapter of First Fall. Unfortunately, I have to read it off my phone. I don't do this too often because my eyesight is not like it used to be. And I really wish I had a book in front of me to read this. So bear with me if I pause, because I'm trying to focus on the small print on my phone. So give me a minute. I'm going to get to the page. Here it is. But I will do my best. Like I said, hopefully I'll get my paperback soon. All right, here we go. Chapter 1, First Fall. Mom, can I go Okay, here we go. I got to focus. Give me a minute. I'm sorry. All right. Mom, can I go ride my bike? Tammy hollered, racing through the front door after returning home from school in the fall of 1973. Not so loud, Tammy, her mother shouted, appearing in the foyer of the family home in Yorkshire, England. I'm not deaf. Her hands rested on her hips and her lips narrowed. You know I don't like you riding your bike alone. Why don't you wait until your sisters, Donna and Jenny, get home from school, and they can go with you? Tammy rolled her eyes and tossed her school bag in the corner next to her sandals she just removed. They never want to go with me, Mom. In fact, they never want to do anything with me anymore. They're always telling me I'm too little or I won't understand. Tammy folded her arms and moaned. They think because they're 13 now and teenagers that they're too old to be playing with me because I'm only 10, even though I'm going to be 11 soon. I hate having older twin sisters. Some of my friends complain about having only one older sister, and I have two. Oh, stop it, Tammy. Rose paused. Well, what about your best friend Susie? Where is she today? She usually comes home with you and spends the afternoon here while her parents are at work. She had to go home. Her mom has taken her for a haircut. Then they're going shopping for clothes. Tammy looked at her mom with pleading eyes. Please, Mom, can I go? I have no one. I have no one to go with me. Oh, wait, sorry. I have no one to go play. No one to play with. Oh, I wish your father was here. As usual, he's on business trip and won't be home until tomorrow night. Dad would let me go. He has before, Tammy pleaded. Yes, he has, but you're with Susie. Neither one of us has ever allowed you to ride your bike by yourself. What if something happens, Tammy? At least if someone is with you, they'll be able to come and let me know. Tammy rolled her eyes again and took a seat at the bottom of the stairs. Nothing's going to happen, Mom, I promise. You don't know that, Tammy. And why are you sitting on the stairs? We have chairs, you know. Tammy folded her arms. I'm not moving until you say I can go ride my bike. Tammy's mother raised her hands. Oh, stop with this nonsense. Why do you always have to give me a hard time when your father's away? You're just like him, stubborn as a mule. You definitely have your father's Irish blood. It runs deeper than that red hair of yours. She shook her head. Thank God you're the only redhead in the family. I don't think I could cope if all my daughters were redheads. Tammy ignored her remark. You still haven't said if I can go. Rose looked down at her feet and watched the family cat Tiger rub his body against her shin with his tail up in the air. He purred loudly and then meowed. I'll feed you in a minute, Tiger. Tiger meowed again and rolled on his back. Unable to resist his cuteness, Rose bent down and petted him. Mom, can I please go? Oh, for goodness sakes, Tammy, go on, go. I'm not going to stand here and argue with you. I have things to do. Tammy quickly stood up and squealed, Yes, thanks, Mom. I'm going upstairs to change. Rose narrowed her eyes and pointed a finger at her. Don't you be gone too long and stay away from the busy streets. I want you home in an hour. Tammy nodded as she raced upstairs to her room and closed the door behind her. She smiled at one of the many posters of David Cassidy on her wall, which she did every day, that hunted for her tennis shoes under the bed. She quickly took off her gray school uniform and threw it on the bed and put on one of her favorite dresses. After lacing her shoes, she raced downstairs and called out to her mom as she headed out the kitchen door to grab her bike from the garage. Bye, Mom. Make sure you're back in an hour, young lady, Rose hollered from the front room. Tammy didn't reply. Instead, she wheeled her red bike out of the garage. She'd only had it for a few months. Once again, she managed to make a fuss when Donna and Jenny got identical blue bikes on their birthdays a few months ago. Her dad, John, had them sitting in the foyer when they came down for breakfast. After the ear-piercing screams from her sisters and hugs from their parents, Tammy laid on the fake tears. Where's my bike? It's not fair. Oh, wait, sorry. Hold on. That they both get one and I don't. John folded his arms and smirked. You have a birthday coming up in a few months. Maybe you'll get one then. Tammy stomped her feet. Why should I have to wait until then? I won't be able to go ride with Donna and Jenny. Rose intervened and said, She has a point, John. It would be nice if the girls were all ride together. John knew his reasoning stood no ground and finally agreed to take Tammy bike shopping that afternoon. There were some advantages to being the youngest as well as Daddy's girl. She got her way most of the time. Tammy mounted her bike and rode to the end of the driveway, looking both ways. As they lived on a cul-de-sac, the streets were quiet, with no cars coming in either direction. She pondered which way to go. She'd ridden by herself on the streets before after Susie had gone home, and had always stayed close to home and remained on their street. But this time she wanted to adventure a bit further. She had a whole hour to kill and didn't want to ride up and down the streets a bunch of times. After a while, she knew she'd get bored. She had two options. She could either go up the street and ride the road that paralleled the moors or go down the steep road to the bottom where it met the slightly busier street that led into the small town of Tridale. Tammy checked her pockets and pulled out 25 pence and grinned. I have enough money to buy a bag of mixed sweets, she said to herself. She slipped the coins back into her pocket and grabbed the handlebars with both hands. I'm going into town, she squealed, as she began to pedal down the street. When she started to descend down the hill, the bike gained speed, and with the wind blowing through her hair, she stopped pedaling and stuck out her legs. Faster, faster, Tammy squealed, whizzing by the houses. When she spotted the car speeding by in the busiest street, Tammy squeezed the brakes and pulled in her legs, placing her feet back on the pedals. For a second, she had a terrifying thought that the brakes might not work, and then had an awful vision of the bike not stopping, instead colliding with the oncoming cars. To her relief, the brakes worked, and she managed to come to an abrupt stop at the intersection. If she went beyond the point where she sat on her bike and watched the traffic go by, it would be the furthest she'd ever have been riding on her own. She looked at the cars traveling in both directions. They were moving extremely fast. Funny how much faster they seemed from her bike versus riding in the car with her parents. Her palms were sweating, and when she noticed that the sidewalk was much quieter with just a few people walking, Tammy decided to ride on that. Pleased with her decision and feeling much safer, she rode at a slower pace, avoiding people in her path, either by ringing the bell on her bike, prompting those in her way to look over their shoulder, then politely move to the side to let her by. Or, if they didn't hear the bell, Tammy rode around them saying, "Excuse me," as she rode by. When she reached the intersection of Brook Street, the busiest street in town, as well as where most of the stores were, Tammy saw that the side roads were crowded with shoppers. There was no way she could ride between them, and the candy stores at the end of the street. Her only choice was to ride in the road. For a few minutes, she sat on her bike and watched the cars coming from all directions. Some came out of parking lots, others turned from the roads where she'd stopped, and then she spotted a few pulling out from the alleys behind the stores. She gripped the handlebars of her bike with her sweaty palms and took a deep breath, easing her bike off the curb and slowly turning onto Brook Street, pedaling slowly, her knuckles now turned white. Her eyes shifted in all directions at every car she saw move. So far, so good, she whispered under her breath as her heart pounded. As she continued to ride, she soon felt tiny against the large cars driving past her. It was all so different when she was riding amongst the traffic. When she passed the first alley with caution, she felt relieved when no cars pulled out. Then she suddenly heard a loud motor close behind her. It was louder than a car, and she could feel the heat from the engine on her back. Slowly, she turned her head and instantly began to lose her balance on the bike from the fear she was experiencing. Behind her was a giant red double-decker bus. Struggling to stay on her bike, wobbling beneath her, Tammy gripped the handlebars, shifting her weight to regain control of the bike. I need to get off the road. I don't want to be in front of that bus, Tammy said aloud to herself, her voice shaken in desperation. She scanned the streets for an alley and spotted one 3 stores down. They began to slow down the bike so she could make the turn, but in her panic state, she squeezed the brakes too hard, and the bike came to a sudden stop. Tammy quickly looked over her shoulder, her eyes wide with fear, and the last thing she saw was the huge metal grille of the bus before the world went black. There you go. That is chapter 1 of First Fall, and that's all I can read, I'm afraid. But I hope you enjoyed it. That gives you a little insight of Tammy when she was a girl and made another bad decision in her life. As you will see that she made more in the trilogy. So I hope you like that. Karen says, oh no. B says, loved it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Carla, wow, I loved it. Let's see. Virgie, awesome. Can't wait to read this book. Lloyd, thank you for reading it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. But yeah, so if you want to see what happens to Tammy, what happened, you'll have to read the rest of the book. Barbara says, thank you for reading. You are so welcome. The paperbacks, like I said, the book is available right now on ebook, and it is still on sale for 99 cents. And you do get chapter 1 and the prologue. Dana is here. She says, thank you. The paperback, I'm still waiting for it to be processed. I had to upload a couple more pages today, so it is being processed. And as soon as that's ready, it will go live. I'm hoping, what day are we on? It's Friday. Okay, so I'm hoping by Sunday, the paperback will be live. And the paperback is going to be only $5.99. It's not going to be an expensive paperback because, like I said, it is a short prequel, but you also get chapter one and the prologue. So it's not going to be an expensive paperback. And they will be, as soon as they're available, I will let everyone know. And as soon as I get my copies, once it goes live, I can order my copies from Amazon. Once they arrive, then I can send the ones that people have won, because I'm going to be giving them out for a while, like I always do. And then you'll be on the list as soon as they come in to be sent. And I'm also will be selling signed copies. So I will let you know when that happens. Thank you, Betty. I call her Betty. Thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah, I'm excited about it. And like I said, as soon as it's live, I will let you know. But I am going to be giving away a signed copy today. So I will let you know about that, the winner after the live. But one of you will be winning a signed copy. You just won't get it right away because I have to wait for it to be processed and, books sent to me. And Amazon can take up to 2 weeks once I order the books. But I still like to do giveaways, even though I don't have the book yet. And it's something for you to look forward to. So you will be on the list when I do the giveaways that, it will be, in the mail eventually. It will be here. So yes, that is my latest release. My next release is Waves and Memories. And I have to thank Barbara Miller. She is here today. I did a contest in my group for a title for this book. This is another extension to the Tammy Mellows trilogy. It is more fishing. It's basically fishing adventures, but also other adventures about living on the boat, living around the water, and it's basically consisting of those. And I could not think of a title for the life of me, so I put a contest in my group. And Barbara Miller's title won, and that was how Waves and Memories came about. So, it was it was a hard choice. There was a lot of great titles, and me and my husband, we sat down and we went through, the 10 finalists that we picked, and we decided on, we had a poll in the group, and Waves and Memories was the most popular, and I like the title. So Barbara Miller, well done. Great title. I will mention that in the book when it comes out. You will be mentioned for I help you with the title. And this again was another fun book to write. Again, it of course stirred up many memories, fun memories. This is a happy book. I don't think there's any sad stories. I don't think I put any sad stories in there. So these are all funny, lighthearted. Just you want to laugh sometimes. Some of them are scary. I want to say that scary, but there's not anything sad. No one dies. The dog didn't die, or anything like that. But they were a lot of fun. And my cover designer is now working on the cover. I absolutely love my cover designer. She has done all my covers, Tiffany at Black Designs, and she does outstanding jobs. I tell her, kind of give an outline of what I want. Just like first of all, I wanted a young girl on a bike. I want the bike to be red and to represent England countryside. And the first thing she sent me was this cover, and I'm like, I don't need anything added. It's perfect. And she just kind of knows what I want. So I've given her an outline of what I want for Waves and Memories. She started it yesterday. So I'm excited to, see what she comes up with. And of course, I will be showing you when I get it. Lulu Fox is editing it right now. She's my editor, and she's doing the editing right now. And I've known Lulu for a long time. We go way back. Lulu is my editor. We've gone back 30 years, just like Elizabeth here. Elizabeth knows me from the marina too. And Lulu is reminiscing while reading this book, and she's been calling me up throughout the day sometimes. Says, I remember when this happened. You told me about this, and I've changed some names of some of the people, but she knew who one person was. And she goes, is that so and so? I goes, yes, because I remember that. So as she's editing my book, she can relate, which is great because, she's actually sharing in on the memory. So it's kind of cool that my editor, actually remembers some of these events. So I'm really thrilled that, we've known each other 30 years. And I knew that she did editing and stuff, but I really didn't want, for a while, I didn't want to ask her because I didn't want it to ruin our friendship. And then I decided, why not? I'm going to give this a shot because she does brilliant work, and I'm really pleased that I took that next step and says, hey, you know what? You want to try editing? And she did open arms for me, and I was thrilled with what she did, and we're going to continue on. It's turning into a great, not only great friendship, but a great working relationship. So, I'm loving it. So thank you, Lulu. I'm not sure she's here, but she's great. She's fantastic. So yes, that would be my next release. And my goal for that one, I want to say, well, in March, I want to say the end of April. And the reason why I want to wait, even though we're almost there for the final edition, is because I want to give it to my review team. And I want it, whoever wants to read it, I put the book in the review team, and whoever wants to read it, great. And if you don't have time, if you're too busy that month or whatever, you got things going on, that is fine. I don't expect my reviewers to read every single book. Things get in the way. We all have a life, but I put it in there. But I also want to give my reviewers some time to review it. Again, it's not a huge book. I think this one is about 120 pages, maybe 130. I'm not sure, but I still want to give them time to read the book. So I like to give them a couple of weeks with that size book. So that will probably go into the review team after I get my first round of edits done. And Lulu just got the book last week. So we're looking at a few weeks for her to edit it, the first rounds. And then if you're in my review team, I will be hitting you up for another review. So I really appreciate you guys. And once in a while, right now I'm doing okay, but once in a while I do put in my Read More Books group that I'm looking for more reviewers to, join my review team. I would love to have you if I put that up. It's a private group. It's another group. It's actually a review team. And that's where I post everything that's being reviewed, what needs to be done for the review. And once in a while, I open it up and accept more reviewers in. When that happens, if you're interested, be sure to, comment in the post. I'm thinking when I bring out the next Sabella book, which I'm hoping to be at the end of the year, then I'm going to be looking for some more reviewers for that. So keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in being a reviewer for me, I would love to have you. Right now, I'm doing okay. I want to get these 2 smaller books out, and then because I'm also getting ready to start a new series. Yay! So, Dana, she says I'm interested. Wonderful. So yes, keep that in mind. Elizabeth has Tina. Do you think you would ever write a mystery? I've been asked that a lot, Betty, and I love writing mystery books. I mean, reading mystery books, and I love thrillers. And it has been in the back of my mind to write either a cozy mystery, a thriller. My problem is I don't know enough when it comes to investigations. I mean, I need to read more cozy mysteries. I need to read more thrillers to get a feel, because I don't know the protocol when it comes to investigating a murder. I really have to do some research before I feel comfortable, because everything has to click. The clues have to click. The clues have to click. And I love books where they drop little clues for the reader. I don't want, of course, the reader to know who it is until hopefully the end. But there's a lot of steps in order to write a mystery. And yeah, I would love to give it a go. But I also want to do some research and feel comfortable when I do write it and not be sloppy about it. And not, well, that's wrong, or this didn't add up, or, well, you know what I'm saying? So it's something that, yes, it's in the back of my mind. And I think maybe one day I'll give it a shot. But before I do, I'm going to read a lot of cozy mysteries and do some research and just, pay attention to how the book unfolds, because it's not something I can just throw myself into. And, and another thing too, I've talked to a lot of mystery writers on my cuppa and nata, and they are all, most of them are plotters. They plot their stories because they need to know, who done it, the clues and all that. I have a hard time plotting my books. I'm a pantster, and I sit down and I just write. I tried plotting it once and it didn't work out for me. So if I do a mystery book or thriller or whatever, I need to get into the practice of being able to plot. I don't think I can write a mystery with not knowing, who the victim is, who the villain is, all those things for me. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I can just sit down and write a murder mystery. I don't know. But yes, it is in the banks. for me to maybe try it. And Lori's got a good point. Once you write a book like that, once you write a book like that, there's another series. Yes, I've heard that too. You can't just write. I don't think I can write any standalones. I really don't. All of my books, if I say my next book is a standalone, don't believe it, because I'll say next month, no, it's not. I was kidding. Book 2 is on its way. So I don't think. Oh, look at me. She says I would love more Tammy stuff. Well, there's something else. Okay, Tammy, which is me. I'm gonna also give you some news that I haven't told this to anyone except for a few people, but I'm gonna let you guys be the first to know too. And this involves Tammy, and it also involves what I'm working on now. The Sabella series. I'm working on book 8, and this will be the last book in the series. It is the last book. It's book 8. I'm on chapter 3 right now. And there was one part it was gearing towards that I didn't want anything to do with. The characters, again, like always, take over. And this one particular thing that they were trying to push into me, I refused to write. So I'm steering the book away from what they want me to write. So far, I'm winning because I won't write what they want me to write. Because if I did, you would hate me. And that's all I'm going to say to that. But anyways, I am winning. But there's something, when I started this book 8, I already knew how I want this series to end. I already knew before I even started. In fact, I knew it in the middle of writing book 7. And one thing about writing any book when it's fiction is you can put anything you want into your world. You are creating this world. It is your world. It is your characters. Yes, it might take place in San Diego. Yes, it might take place in, towns that we all know about. But the actual world you create within your characters is your own, because it's fiction. And I can put whatever I want into my books. So this is where it's going to be interesting in the Sabella series book 8. Because what's going to happen in book 8, and I'm giving you advance notice, is that, okay, the Tammy Mallory's trilogy, I love Tammy. I love writing the trilogy. And I kind of miss writing about her, which is why I wrote the prequel. So in book 8, it's going to be a crossover. We're going to have Sabella and Slater are going to meet Tammy and Dwayne. So Tammy and Dwayne aren't going anywhere. They're actually going to show up in the Sabella series book 8. And I'm doing a crossover. So this I'm really excited about. Now you're going to have to find out how they meet and what events take place during book 8. But I did want to put that out there. So if you've read the Tammy Mallory trilogy, you're going to know Tammy and Dwayne in the Sabella series. It's my world, and I can put whatever I want. So this is a crossover. It's the final book. But yes, my characters do come together in this book. So this I'm excited to write, and it'll be fun. Where they meet and how they meet and what events take place, we'll leave it up to me writing. And, we'll see where it goes. But yes, it's definitely going to be a crossover. You're not going to see the end of Tammy or Dwayne. And they're going to be in the Sabella series. Again, no title yet. That always comes to me later. And again, I might have to ask for your help on that one. But my goal is for the Sabella series book 8 is to have the first, we're in middle of March. My goal is to have the first draft written March. I'm giving myself 3 months. So what's 3 months from now? April, May, June. So I'm giving myself around 3 months, maybe a little bit longer, the end of June, to get the first draft ready. And then, of course, I need at least another month to go in and clean it up. So we're looking now at the end of July. After July, then it will go to my edit. So I'm giving myself a deadline of July. Look at me, I'm planning my calendar out right in front of you. July, it will go to my editor. So we're looking at a release, I want to say by end of November, December. I know it's been a year in between the last book. If that happens, I try and get it out sooner. But I wanted to get the prequel out, and I wanted to get out Ways and Memories. So I kind of cut into the Sabella series by bringing out those 2 books. But I did get those out in 3 months. That's pretty good, because Open Arms came out in December. So now that I'm back on track with the Sabella series, all I'm writing and working on is the Sabella series. There is no more interruptions. So if all goes well, give me 3 to 4 months to write it, and we'll take it from there. So yes, that is what I am been working on, and I'm super excited to do a crossover because I love both worlds. I love the Tammy world, I love the Sabella world, and to bring them together, I think would be kind of cool way to end the series. And I hope you agree. I hope you like the idea that Tammy will be in the Sabella series, and it'd be a lot of fun. And then I get to start a brand new series, which I will tell you more about after the Sabella series. But I do have one that I do want to start writing. I actually went over it with my editor today. I gave her an outline to it, and she is actually excited about it. She loves the idea. She loves the outline that we talked about, Lulu, and she's excited to edit that series too. And again, I have no idea how long that series will be. We will find out. But that's jumping the gun. Let's work with the Sabella series, and then we'll talk more about that one. So I'm excited about what's in store. That is about everything that wraps it up. You know what I'm working on, you know what's coming, and you know what I've been working on. So any last questions before I sign off? Oh, I do want to say, like I said, I am giving out a signed copy of what is it called? First Fall. I'm sorry, brain freeze. First Fall. One of you is going to get a signed copy. I'll announce it in the group within 20 minutes of me going offline. And then I'm also going to give away one of my totes. I love these totes. So I'm giving away one of these. And the back is my logo. See that? So one of you is going to get a tote. And when you go grocery shopping, show my books. Show my books. So there you go. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I always love talking to you guys and hanging out. I will be back in a month. I just don't have a date yet, but once a month I like to do this. It'll be on a Friday, and I will let you know how much further I've gone in the Sabella series, and maybe by then, no, it won't be end of April. Oh, it might be. Maybe by then, crossing fingers, Ways and Memories might be out. I can't promise that, but that's my next release. Will be Waves and Memories. So let's see what happens. I'll let you keep you posted. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the group. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.